The NFL draft now almost here. We've got 1010 XL's Frank Frangie here. Frank, the top of the draft is where we've spent all our time for the past couple of years looking. Luckily, the Jaguars not in that conversation this year, but what happens at the top of the draft will still very much impact the Jaguars. The more quarterbacks that go at the top, the better it is for the Jaguars. So let's talk about those quarterbacks. One guy that we're keeping our eyes on, obviously Anthony Richardson for Gators fans out there, is in that mix, but nobody really knows who the first quarterback's going to be off the board.
I think it's one of the great mysteries of drafts in recent years, how this whole quarterback thing's going to play out. I think most people now believe Bryce Young is going #1 to the Panthers. I believe that too. Who knows after that? But I will tell you, if the Houston Texans don't take C.J. Stroud, what in the world are they thinking? I think he's that good of a player. I really believe that. I think there's a chance that Indianapolis takes one of them, maybe AR if Stroud isn't there. Wouldn't even surprise me if Tennessee moves up and takes one of them. Do you realize the teams the Jaguars play, the teams in the division, could all be taking quarterbacks other than the Jaguars? Fascinating at the top of the draft.
The Jaguars have been quiet this offseason. The biggest improvement that we've seen as we head into next season so far is Calvin Ridley, but that was a trade that was made last year. They should be able to get someone who helps them in the first round of this year's draft. The difference from the past couple of years? Pick 24 instead of pick #1 and pick #1.
It sure is nice to be able to draft the seasoning, not the main course. The Jaguars have not been able to do that. They've had to draft a guy that was critically important to whether they win or lose games. Now I think they can draft a guy that's going to help the cause. If they draft a nickel corner, he plays right away. If they draft an edge, he's in the mix right away. But it's not as critical. That means you have a good team. The best teams draft late. You still have to be good at drafting, but it's awfully nice to think that this guy doesn't have to be fantastic out of the gate. That's what the good teams have.
Yeah, it's nice that they can get a little guy that can come in and just play a role, not have to be a star from day one. As you kind of hit on a few of the Jaguars' needs on the roster just there, where do you kind of rank some of them? Because when you look at it, we can say they definitely have to improve the pass rush. You could definitely use a nickel corner. They could probably use some help in that tight end room, too. Where do you rank the Jaguars' needs?
Jamal, I think pass rush is first because it's so critical in the league. It's a quarterback's league more than ever before, and the only way you win against those good quarterbacks is to get them off their spot and affect them. And I don't think the Jags have a great collection there yet. I think Trayvon Walker is going to be a very good pass rusher. Josh Allen has had some great moments here, but they're not great there. The reality is they're not great at outside pass rush, exterior pass rush. That's where I really think they have to get better. So to me, it's a glaring #1. After that, slot corner. Someone's got to come in here and start if it's not Trey Herndon, that's for sure. And you made a good point about tight end. There's two tight end positions. There's the move tight end, which is what Evan Ingram plays, which is off the line a little bit, and he creates matchup problems. But there's also that inline tight end, that big physical blocker. Well, Chris Manhertz played that before, and he's gone. So, yeah, I think if you get a tight end, it's a guy that plays on the line of scrimmage. But I think those are the ones. Offensive tackle for some depth, but I really think pass rush and nickel corner are the others.
All right, as we kind of try and figure out who will be there, the hardest part about getting pass rush help is the Jaguars pick at 24, and every team's looking to improve their pass rush. So a lot of the talented ones will already have homes by the time the Jaguars get on the clock. Do you think there's a chance that a really good one could fall to them at 24?
Van Ness could. The kid from Iowa could be there. Nolan Smith, we can hope like heck, will be there. Here's the good thing is it's a good draft for edge. It's not a very good wide receiver draft. There's some areas where it's not very good. It's a very good draft for pass rushers, so I think somebody could be. And if they don't get somebody there at 24, I think down the road they're going to wind up getting somebody. Trust me, 9 picks, I'd be surprised if they don't pick 2 pass rushers, not just one. We have to just see how high they pick one.
Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. We'll be waiting, and we'll help you get ready for the draft right here on Channel 4. Our News4Jags draft special will start on Thursday from 7 o'clock all the way until 8 o'clock live here on Channel 4 and on News4Jags.com. The draft starts at 8 o'clock. We just shift gears a little bit. We'll be on News4Jags.com and News4Jags Plus for another hour as the picks start to roll in, getting you ready for when the Jaguars are finally on the clock at 24. Make sure you tune in. We'll have a lot of fun and a lot of Jaguars draft coverage.